with your host, Chip Watson. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go on this Monday. It is February 27th. Believe it or not, it's actually the 27th day of the second month of the year. My God, time is flying by so quickly. Welcome to Real Talk Memphis on this beautiful Monday night. It feels almost like spring out there, doesn't it? Temperatures around 70 degrees and folks getting outside and everything. I'm depressed. And the reason I'm depressed about the fact that it's 70 degrees, that means that spring is close by, and that means I have to start cutting grass again. So I'm not happy about that. But I digress. That is my issue. Welcome in. Very happy to have you tonight. And I think we have a good show for you this evening. We'll get into all of that in just a few minutes. Of course, many of you always ask, how do I get this extraordinary piece of radio broadcasting? Well, Lola is going to tell you how to do that. Lola?
You can find this fine piece of broadcasting on live here on WYXR 91.7, on the TuneIn app, Facebook Live, and when it posts Tuesday, available on YouTube, Twitter, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcast. Thank you, Lola. That was very, very well done. So now you have no questions as to how to get this fine piece of radio broadcasting. We got all of that business out of the way. Guests tonight include Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert, who has been in the news a bit of late, and we're going to have a conversation with her about that and how things are going, as she, of course, is the Shelby County Clerk. We'll have that and this is the first time Wanda's been on this broadcast, so I look forward to having her in just a few minutes. A little bit later on, we're going to talk about your heart and your heartbeat. You know, this is the Heart Health Month, of course, in February. And we're going to have Mr. Wardell Seals. Who is he? He is the president and CEO of Heartbeat CPR. And not only do they train folks in how to properly execute CPR, they also offer certification and a lot of very good, valuable information you need to know. And if you're not CPR certified, you need to know how to become that, because you could be the right person in the right place at the right time. And a little bit later on, we're going to be speaking with Regina Goulder. She is a nurse practitioner with the Methodist Medical Group. Recently, they had an event that they do every year called Tennessee Quit Week. Two of the habits that they are trying to get you to quit are bad ones. One is smoking, and the other one is vaping. And, they're going to talk a little bit about that. And both of them are harmful to your health. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the Tennessee Quit Week is all about. And really, maybe how you need to maybe change those habits in terms of smoking and vaping. So that's the big broadcast tonight. And before we move on, of course, it is this time of the broadcast that we honor you in your current trip around the sun. If you have celebrated a birthday over the weekend, or had one today, or have one today, or you have one this week, this is the shout out portion of the big broadcast. And of course, we can't do that unless I say, hit it, Bren.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to the following individuals. Elizabeth Hart, happy birthday to you. Shalisa Granberry celebrating her birthday today, as is Clarence Macklin, Charles Banks. Jacqueline Cox Heron celebrating today, as is Ricky Hamilton Jackson. Melodia Lucas celebrating today. Angel Blair, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Timothy Ware, Nancy Schellenberger, and Edward Jerome Hampton. And Lola is by the mic, so I'm sure she has a birthday or two as well. Lola?
A very, very special birthday to my big sister, Vicki Gregory. She is 21 on today, so yes, that makes me 18. Happy birthday. Love you.
I like how it's reversed. I like how that takes place. Well, happy birthday to her, and happy birthday to each and every one of you out there. We look forward to being with you next year to celebrate your next trip around the sun. I hope today was filled with fun and laughter. Happy birthday to one and all. Thank you, Bryn. All right, so we'll get into some news and notes here. Of course, today is the visitation for the MPD officer Jeffrey Redd. He will be laid to rest tomorrow at Hope Church. This evening, maybe around 6:30, not too long from now, the Sea of Blue will be happening. And it will be occurring over on South Mendenhall. I think the 3500 block is where it will emanate from. So if you want to go out and pay your respects to the late Officer Jeffrey Redd, feel free to do so as well. So it was another violent weekend in the city of Memphis. What's new about that, right? We actually had. So let's back up just a bit. A week ago on Sunday, we had 11 people shot, and one of them died in that. It was categorized as a mass shooting because it was. Two of the individuals who were charged in that shooting are now out on bond. The reason why they're out on bond is because apparently there's some video, according to the defense attorney who's representing one of the suspects, that shows that the suspect was actually defending himself from being shot. We will see how all of this plays out, of course, in court. Fast forward to yesterday, early yesterday morning, 5 people were shot. One of those people died at the scene, and the 4 other individuals who were shot are in critical condition. This happened at a gas station on 3rd Street near Shelby Drive in southwest of Memphis. Later on yesterday afternoon, 3 additional people were shot in North Memphis. And to top it off, early this morning, 4 people were shot in South Memphis, with 2 of those victims dying at the scene. So, and there's no suspect information on any of those cases at this particular point in time. So, once again, we wake up to extraordinarily tragic news. And we've also seen a very big increase in the number of accidents on our interstates. And I'm talking about multi-vehicle accidents, as well, that not only tying up interstate for hours and hours and hours, but also causing fatalities. So, ladies and gentlemen, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. When we know better, we really need to try to do better, out here, because there are too many people losing their lives needlessly on a daily and weekly basis. And I'm kind of tired of talking about it, to be honest with you, because it's sad and it's heartbreaking. You may have heard the conversation that emanated from the County Commission last week in reference to reparations. They're actually going to fund a study, about $5 million worth, to study reparations for descendants of enslaved people. They want to establish, develop, and figure out how exactly to do this by addressing 5 key areas of concern. One of them is access to affordable housing and ownership, healthcare, criminal justice reform, and enhanced career opportunities, along with financial literacy and generational wealth. So they're trying to figure out exactly how they can do this, and what is the best way to do this. I know many of you are looking at trying to get a check. All right, that will probably not be the case. Instead, they will utilize some of the programs that are very much needed to help to improve our community and the people living in our various communities in reference to some of the areas that we discussed. This is something that bears watching, as not only here, but there are several states across the country who are looking at some type of inspiration program to give people. And I know once again, people are saying to themselves, yeah, good. It's time. I need to be paid. Well, it won't be in the form of a check, I don't believe, but let's just watch the progress and the process as it continues to move along. So the announcement of Memphis in May, the acts that are going to be featured came out today. And, Nicole and Lola, are big musical folks, and they both have radio shows and the whole nine yards. So I'll just name some of the acts that were mentioned. The Lumineers. These are the highlight, the big acts or whatever. Greta Van Fleet, Robert Plant and Allison Krauss. Earth, Wind, and Fire. She'll be raising her hand on that one. Jasmine Sullivan. Everybody, The Roots, Ziggy Marley, and PJ Morton. And a hip hop guy by the name of Finesse Two Times. He's from here. He's from Memphis, right? And the Barkays will be making a return to the big stage, along with Glorilla. Now that is just a small sample size of the number of people who are going to be here. Everybody in the studio seems to be kind of pleased with that. Y'all going? I take it to check out the show. Nicole is kind of yeah. So Shelby will be there. She'll be waiting to get down. All right. Well, that takes a good look at news and notes and entertainment, by the way, on this Monday evening. We're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we are going to speak with our Shelby County clerk. Her name is Wanda Halbert. This is, what's the name of this show? Real Talk Memphis for a Monday evening. I'm Chip. You know who you are. I think I'm Chip, and I think you know who you are. Quick break, right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by the On Stage at the Halloran Center 2022-2023 season, which continues in downtown Memphis. Experience live entertainment with music, magic, and more, including the return of Orchestra Unplugged and the Songwriter Series events. More information and the full lineup at orpheum-memphis.com/onstage.
WYXR Stereo Sessions presented by Mempho returns March 8th, where we'll be diving into the psychedelic sounds of New Zealand Trading Company with their album's producer, Natalie Rosenberg. RSVP for the free event at WYXR.org.
This is Clark Keys with Crosstown Brewing Company. WYXR is supported by Crosstown Brewing Company's CBC Classic Golf Tournament on Saturday, April 1st at the Links at Galloway. A portion of the proceeds will benefit WYXR. More information available at crosstownbeer.com.
Like what you're hearing? WYXR is a listener-supported station. Help keep the sound of Memphis alive by donating at WYXR.org.
Do you want to place your company in front of Memphis cultural consumers and influencers? How about interacting with them in a meaningful way? WYXR's second annual Stereo Sessions at the Memphis Listening Lab is back. We are looking for sponsors to support WYXR's exploration of unsung albums from the musical history of Memphis. For more information, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis. I found out what the name of the show was during the commercial break. It's Real Talk Memphis. Very happy to have you with us on this Monday evening. I'm Chip, and I'm very happy to have my next guest with me. She, of course, is the Shelby County Clerk, Wanda Halbert. And, Wanda's never been on this broadcast before, so I'm very happy to have her. And it's good to see you, my friend. How are you tonight?
I am great. How are you, sir?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you for taking some time out of an extraordinarily busy schedule to join me this evening. Really, really appreciate it. So, everything was going, rather well quietly in terms of your office of late. But a couple of weeks ago, we heard from local representative, State Representative Mark White, who decided to pass a bill through the legislature up there in Nashville, which basically changed the percentage of what it would take to recall your position from 15% to now 1%. And I thought that was a very interesting. He didn't bother to tell any of his Democratic colleagues, he is a Republican, that he was making that move. And then we fast forward to last Wednesday when the county commission met. And at some particular point in time, there was initially a conversation about hiring an attorney to try to, look into seeing if they could try to oust you some way. But Commissioner Henry Brooks stepped in and said, no, we're not going to do that. And instead, they decided they wanted to offer you a special assistant who would be in your office for the next 90 days to analyze, assess, and basically give a review of what's going on there and report back to the county commission. I have to ask you, in light of recent events, how are you feeling about all of this? And do you have any idea where all this initially came from once again?
Well, let me first say thank you for inviting me to the show, and I hope this is not my last show.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely. So, I agree with you. Over the last 4 years, we have been here up until last year. All of a sudden, it just looked like the bottom fell out of the organization. And what we ended up discovering was that the county clerk's office has never historically performed mail services. That's always been done by the administration of the mayor. Mm-hmm. And somehow all of these license plates all of a sudden stopped getting to citizens. So it was so weird that it took me maybe about a week to figure out what was going on, only to discover that the mail services had been completely stopped, quote, due to a lack of funds.
Okay.
What the customers don't know is that when they go online all day, every day, your fee is put into the coffers of the county clerk's account, and that money is swept by Shelby County government. So the money is always there.
Okay. All right.
Also, state law, Chip, that says even if for whatever reason a independent office cannot perform a function, the state still holds the county legally liable to carry out that function. Mm-hmm. So this thing that Representative White has done has just been an eye-opener, because Representative White actually reached out to me at a Democratic function, and he offered to assist. And there are a host of emails between and among him, myself, him, and others at the state level where they literally reached out to help and assist me. Mm-hmm. So those correspondence exist among many, about 4 or 5 of us.
So this action by him initially at the State House clearly took you by surprise, you're saying?
Not only by surprise, it disappointed me, because I don't personally know Representative White. Mm-hmm. I was honored, and especially with him being a Republican, cared enough about the public's business that he did not look at the party line, and he reached over and assisted. But I think there's something else different going on here with this attempt.
So, I know you'd be to be a woman of principle and standards, and I've heard you mention in the past that there were, in terms of the offices that you oversee. First of all, there's always been a bit of a staffing issue, but more importantly, there's a retrofit issue in terms of what you saw when you came in there. Talk a little bit about that and why that has been so high on your priority list.
So what we've documented was the fact that these buildings, and I would like the public to make sure that they just kind of think back if you've ever gone to any of these facilities. These facilities, we've been in these buildings for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. So that means, did we grow as our population and our customer base grew? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. And when I got into the office, I thought it was really odd because in the non-government building, you don't even have public restrooms. That's illegal today. It's been illegal for quite some time. It's outside of ADA compliance. Mm-hmm. And when the county commission, some members of the county commission started kind of talking about it, we literally went and had posters made where you could see our video footage before COVID. And everyone knows that we did not find out about COVID until March the 9th of 2020.
Right.
So before COVID, we have it where all of the customers are stacked, sitting on top of each other. There has always been a line, but during COVID, of course, we had the 6 feet social distance. And before we could even get out of COVID, then the governor decided to turn on new license plates for everyone throughout the entire state. So those three issues back to back kind of threw us a little bit, but the county clerk's office has always had the ability to perform the services. Had those license plates not gotten stopped from going to the customers, we would not have been in that position.
So, in reference to all of that and saying all of that, clearly there, and you've always been honest, there have always been lines in terms of this. But in terms of what you just talked about internally and some of the other issues that have happened, one of the things I was very surprised about was what happened at the county commission last week, when all of a sudden this issue came up again, and now they're talking about bringing in a so-called special assistant to oversee your office and analyze things and report back to the county commission. I don't think that was a move that made you feel too positive about things, was it?
Well, let me kind of step back and correct that just a little bit, Chip, if I may.
Sure.
What they're referencing is bringing in someone potentially with a legal background, okay, to help discover what is the problem, okay, and how do we rectify the problem. Well, let me remind you all that as soon as I walked through the door, I asked for a forensic audit because I knew something was wrong. Uh-huh. Additionally, this office requested a legal representative, and we were denied that, only to find out that other offices throughout Shelby County government have been giving exactly that. So we were forced to take a policy advisor, which did not have the meat of an attorney. There are no problems for anyone to come in and fix outside of the fact that you're still living 30 years ago in the same facilities that literally do not serve today's customer base in Shelby County government. But also, I believe and I am hopeful that whomever that person is, we're gonna publicly get to the bottom of what exactly happened. And we have documented every part of that process. And I'm very disappointed that those who are responsible are not taking ownership of that.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert, and we're talking about some of the issues that are going on within the office, and of course some of the outside, interference, in reference to doing your job on a daily basis. The Riverside Drive office. Riverdale. Yeah, I'm sorry. That office has also had a lot of conversation. There have been several dates, drop dead dates, supposedly when it was supposed to open. As of yet, it still has not opened. Do you have an update in reference to that office?
Well, I will tell you, there have never been drop dead dates as to when it was supposed to open. And Chip, if I may, I will tell you, during COVID, literally trying to figure out how do we properly serve or best serve, more than 1.2 million residents and additional 1 million customers inside and outside of the state of Tennessee. And I happened to notice that there were a lot of banking facilities that had closed down. So I thought, what better way to serve the customer base for indoor and outdoor drive-up, drive-through kiosk experiences? So we found a good deal, worked with a great real estate agent, Dawn Kennard. And when I tell you our team was very excited to see the renovation, we decided on the layout of the facility, the colors, etc. Well, we waited almost a year for the furniture to come in. And even with that, all of the furniture still had not come in, and I think it may be in now. But the bottom line is, last May, when all of this foolishness occurred with the license plates, and we did notify all of the news media. So if you didn't hear it, I don't know why. But when the license plates stopped, the Chamber of Commerce, a representative from the Chamber, came to our office, spent 2 hours, and everything we do is always on video. You can see when they walk in and when they walk out. And they offered to help us with some summer employees who could help clean up whatever that backlog that was created. And then at the same time, we asked them to assist us with securing 15 additional positions, because at least we could get ahead of getting those employees, potential Riverdale employees, trained and ready to roll out whenever the facility opened. Not only did we not get the summer employees, we didn't get the 15 employees either from the county. So, and we've been told now that until we fill every position that currently exists in the county clerk's office, which, as you know, since COVID, employees are in, out. Sure. We literally have seen it get hired and leave within a week because they got a $5,000-$10,000 or more paying job.
So clearly more challenges in terms of that. But is there any sort of plan in terms of the Riverdale address as to when you might be ready to serve the public there?
We don't have a potential date for opening, but we are planning a soft opening, which is important because if you've ever traveled in that area, especially in the mornings and the evenings and when everybody's coming and going to work, there's a tremendous traffic jam often there. So we're talking about opening up 2 of the drive-up windows as well as 2 kiosks outside. So that would at least get us started. Customers can enjoy that drive-up experience. But there are a few finalities that we have to complete inside of the facilities. And I can't specifically get into talking about that because if you think about the bank infrastructure, we got to protect the integrity of the way that we're going to set up the facility on the inside and assist the customers.
Well, listen, you've always been very forthright and honest and open about where things stand in terms of what you're doing. And you've always been able to navigate the various outside issues that are coming your way. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. We've never had you before, and the invitation is always open. If you want to call, if you want to come back on this show to give us an update or express any other things that need to be said to the public, you have an open invitation to this show. Okay.
I will, Chip, and if I may say, first I want to thank you because being in the office of any office where you're not afraid to go against the grain and the challenges that's not always easy. It's very difficult being in this position. especially when there may be others who have a different agenda. But when you all choose to elect us in whatever capacity we serve, we have a duty and a responsibility to not only be as transparent and as honest, full of integrity as we should be, but when we identify areas where those are challenges and problems with our elected officials, then we have to call it out and we have to make a different decision. I'm not afraid to do the right thing, and I'm not going to back away from doing the right thing. I just ask my bosses, all of the voters of Shelby County, you've always trusted me. You know that I'm a hard worker. And something obviously is happening here that's totally outside of our control. But with your voices joining us and making sure that Riverdale happens, then we're going to push through this without a problem.
Wanda Halbert, Shelby County Clerk. Wanda, thank you so much. And we'll talk down the road, okay?
Thank you, Chip.
All right, take care.
You.
All right, you. All right, that was a pretty good conversation, as we knew that we would have, with Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert. Thank her very much for coming on the show tonight. We're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with our conversation this morning about making a healthier you, a better you, and all of that kind of stuff, because it's you, after all. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll take a really quick break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by the On Stage at the Halloran Center 2022-2023 season, which continues in downtown Memphis. Experience live entertainment with music, magic, and more, including the return of Orchestra Unplugged and the Songwriter Series events. More information and the full lineup at orpheum-memphis.com/onstage.
Hey, I'm Will from Crosstown Brewing Company. We support WYXR 91.7 FM. A favorite beer is just like a favorite song. We feel something new every time we encounter them. Cheers to playing the hits and tasting the notes.
WYXR is supported by Shell Days Music Festival, presented by Mempho, April 21st and 22nd at Overton Park Shell. Shell Days will feature 2 days of music with Trampled by Turtles, Southern Avenue, Leftover Salmon, Neil Francis, Paul Thorne, and Bailey Bigger. More information at memphopresents.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. A special shout out and hello to all of you who are checking us out on Facebook Live tonight. Really appreciate it. To my brother is checking in from California, and Jay Worth is checking us out tonight too. What's good, man? How are you? Dana Owens, Sheba Rando, Michael Harris, and the list goes on and on. Michael Henry and the whole. But thank you all. I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate my next guest. Now, living a healthy lifestyle is extraordinarily important. And it is very important to our next guest. She's a nurse practitioner from the Methodist Medical Group, and her name is Regina Goulder. And Regina, it's good to see you, and welcome to Real Talk Memphis.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely that. Now, recently, there was a whole week devoted to quitting some of the nasty habits that some of us, carry forth, which is smoking and vaping, and it was called Tennessee Quit Week. Tell us a little bit about it. I know it just passed. Tell us a little bit about it, its function, and why it was so important to have.
So Tennessee Quit Week was developed about 8 years ago, and it's a whole week focused on helping Tennesseans decide to quit smoking or vaping, both tobacco use products in general. There's a website, there's hotlines, it gives you information, coaching, counseling, ways to quit smoking, partners you with other people who may be trying to quit smoking as far as group chats and things like that. It's just a great resource all around. And like I say, we have a whole week where we really promote tobacco cessation. So
in doing that, I'm sure that there are statistics to back that up. And in terms of, I mean, is it a statewide thing in terms of determining the number of smokers that we have in the state, or is it more localized here in Shelby County? I mean, how do you all measure that?
Measure the amount of smokers that we have?
Yeah.
Quit?
I mean, actually, the number that we have, and because I know,
over 11,000 Tennesseans die every year from smoking and or toxic substances, whether it's vaping or smoking. So, in that standpoint, that seems like a pretty high number for just the state of Tennessee.
It does. Now, vaping is something, and by definition, I don't believe it. I'm not really too up on what it is. Can you basically sort of diagram, kind of let us know what vaping really is?
Vaping is smokeless tobacco, inhaling the products. So we we do know that it's probably less toxic than smoking, but it's still not risk-free. And ultimately, we really don't know all the long-term effects of vaping, because we don't know all the chemicals that are mixed that we're inhaling when you come to all the flavoring and the nicotine involved. So it's smokeless tobacco, as we all know is readily available at all the gas stations in any flavor that you want, which makes it highly sought after for our young groups, our young teens.
And I was going to ask you, that sounds like that's the real appeal. Is it because it comes in different flavors that you can inhale and things like that?
It is, and you would be surprised, but a lot of people are really turned off on the smell of smoke, the taste of smoke, whether it's kissing and being around people, their clothing. So really, people turn to this, even like the younger generation, because they are turned off by the smell of it, and so they are using these vaping pens in order to avoid that.
And you said that this is something the young folks have really picked up on. And there's no real legislation or age in terms of this, right? I mean, anybody who wants it can get it. Is that
well, no, it's got nicotine. So in the state of Tennessee, you have to be 21 to buy it, just like you do cigarettes. But we all know that people have their ways of getting a hold of things much younger than that, and that's where we're seeing this new generation hooked on nicotine, is because of the vaping that's out there. And I mean, we also see vaping in people trying to quit smoking. Okay, so that's another way that we see vaping, is they think that that's a better way to quit smoking. So they're going to go more what they think is clean and try to quit smoking using vaping devices.
Sort of another option, if you will, in terms of that. I'm wondering if that works, because you still get the sort of the same sensation in terms of the nicotine.
You still get the nicotine,
right?
yeah. Now they do have different ways of turning down the amount of nicotine that they get, and I guess that can be somewhat effective, but you still have the risk for asthma and chronic lung disease, and of course all the side effects of nicotine that you get, just maybe not all the toxic substances that you would get from cigarettes. So that's where we run into, is it really a good way to stop smoking? And we don't think it is.
Yeah, lung disease and chronic lung disease and things like that. Of course, lung cancer. Are these some pretty big killers in terms of what we see annually here? You did mention that the 11,000 people are affected by this in some way, shape, or form. That is a pretty high number for the state. How concerning is that?
So I want to go back to where you mentioned cancer. Unfortunately, we don't just look at lung cancer. Although we think that cigarettes just cause lung cancer, it's very high in producing mouth cancers and esophageal cancers and bladder cancer. It is a big cause of bladder cancer. So it's not just lung cancer that kills these folks. It's other cancers.
It sounds like and all of that being said, makes this really a pretty dangerous habit for a lot of people who have been doing it for a long time. I know my mother was still with us. She smoked from the time she was in her 20s, but she quit cold turkey at 65. And
that's good, because I was going to give you some statistics on cold turkey quitting. It's not very effective.
I was going to say, most people don't have you have to have a great willpower, but she literally stopped when she turned 65. She stopped. And she never went back, and she never had a craving or an urge or anything like that.
I admire those people who can do that, because it's difficult. It is very difficult. And as a healthcare provider, I understand that 100%.
Yeah.
It's not an easy task that we are asking you to stop smoking for your health benefits. It's not easy, but that's why we're here, for the support and to help.
I would say on one final note, I would say that I'm sure you've had some folks, maybe even have some today, that are advocates for having done this for maybe an entire lifetime, and some of the maybe negative health aspects that they were affected by. Those tend to be the best advocates to tell folks, look, you know what? It may be cool, it may look cool, it may provide you with something that's missing, but this is really dangerous stuff, and you really do need to stop.
Yeah. That's one of the tools in quitting smoking is the behavioral health part of it. Get counseling and group therapy. There's groups everywhere, and they'll tell you, I've been through it. I know it's difficult to stop smoking, but look where I am today. There's so many benefits that you see even an hour after you stop smoking. There's benefits to things that happen in your body that will benefit you in the long run and benefit your health.
Well, listen, we're very thankful for what you do as a nurse practitioner, and what Methodist does as a medical group and an organization to help keep us healthy, and also keep us informed of things that we need to know. Regina Goulder, thank you so much for coming on our show tonight. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the information as well.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
You have a great evening. So,
you too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have that habit, whether it's smoking or vaping, there's a lot that goes along with that. If you have any questions about it, and you want to quit, the folks at Methodist Medical Group can help you with that. We're going to take our final break, a quick one, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about heartbeat, CPR, training, certification, and all the things you need to know right here on Real Talk Memphis. We'll take our final break of the night, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Minglewood Hall, presenting Mo on Saturday, March 11th. For 3 decades, Mo has been known for their musical synergy, showmanship, and songcrafting. More information at minglewoodhallmemphis.com.
Support for WYXR comes from Cushman & Wakefield Commercial Advisors. They have provided client-driven commercial real estate solutions throughout the U.S. since 1991. More information at cushmanwakefield.com.
At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Like what you're hearing? WYXR is a listener-supported station. Help keep the sound of Memphis alive by donating at WYXR.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis for this Monday evening. Chip with you. And I just have a quick question for all of you out there. Are you CPR certified? Show of hands, show of hands, show of hands. Well, if you're not, I have my next guest is here, and he's going to talk to us all about that, and he's also going to demonstrate it as well. He is Wardell Seals. He is the president and CEO of Heartbeat CPR. And Wardell, it is good to see you. It is good to have you. Welcome to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Chip. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely that. So tell me a little bit about the company. You've been doing what you're doing now for 30 years, and you've been teaching folks about CPR, and you've been certifying folks. So just tell us a little bit about the company and why you decided it was so important to do this.
Great. Absolutely. Heartbeat CPR, I really began training in 1978. When I moved to Memphis, when I started my business here in Tennessee. Not only is it just here in Tennessee, but it's all over. I travel all over doing local, state, and national conferences. Mm-hmm. But I got in. I'm also a paramedic from the Memphis Fire Department.
Okay.
So I started teaching people how to save a life due to, as a paramedic, going into people's home, they had just known just a little bit about, what could I have done to possibly save someone's life. A person has a heart attack that occurs every 20 seconds, with a heart attack death occurring every minute. Females over the age of 40 years old at a high risk of having a heart attack. So I saw it as my calling to begin teaching people how to save a life and what to do if someone wasn't breathing, if they had a pulse, or what to do if there was no breathing, no pulse. And it's just like, driving your car. Your car doesn't have gas in it. It won't start until you put gas in it. It's the same way with your heart.
Exactly.
The heart has to have oxygen in order for it to beat. But we've been in business, like I said, here in Memphis for over 30 years. As a matter of fact, this is my 30th year in Memphis, been in business in April 2023.
So one of the big things that you do is obviously you're a teacher. You say you're a former paramedic, and you've seen a lot of things, and you teach this. And I thought it would be good for you to sort of demonstrate a little bit, to the audience who's watching right now, about how you do what you do, and some of the trigger points and some of the things that people should recognize in terms of trying to resuscitate another human being.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, one of the things about, and if you notice, Chip, I have yet to use, let me put this up a little bit. I have yet to use the terminology CPR. I tell people, most people that want to say, go start CPR, first thing they want to do, they want to start doing chest compression. Which, if the heart is already, this is the engine, if the engine is already running, and you start doing the chest compression or trying to make the engine run, you're going to make the engine stop running. So I tell people, it's about just doing a good assessment. If you find someone laying down, you don't know what's going on, you got to do sort of an assessment. And that first assessment is to see what's going on. Hey, wake up, John. If John doesn't respond, either you or you have someone specific, call 911. Now, due to COVID, if you don't want to give the breath, you can go ahead and check for a heartbeat. So the American Heart Association, we have to invest in these mannequins, and they have the lights on them. So the lights, the green light's going to tell you that you're going deep enough. That gold light is going to tell you you're going fast enough. So when we're telling people what to do, we tell them just to press hard and fast. And the simple way is you want to be in the center of the chest. And it's just like your vehicle. If you're on the tip end of the accelerator, it takes a long time for the car to go. But if you're in the center of the accelerator, if you press hard, that car goes. Is that correct?
Go. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So we tell people to place 4 fingers up under the armpit, come across to the center of the chest. You raise these fingers up, and it's depending on how you want to hold your hand. You got to do what's comfortable for you. There's no certain way to hold your hand because you're the one that's doing this. So we want to raise the fingers up, straighten your arms out, and you press fast and hard.
Okay, so you're pressing fast. Is there a certain number of that you do that in terms of
Well, the American Heart Association said, when we had the people giving their breath, it was 30 compression to 2 breath.
Okay.
You want to do that for at least 2 minutes. Because when the heart is not beating, we have this machine what we call an AED, defibrillator.
Yes.
External defibrillator. Matter of fact, this is what saved Hamlin life. Shocking the heart.
Yeah.
It's very easy to use. This machine is going to talk to you.
So it walks you through, and I've seen a lot of places, a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations, groups, corporations have these machines now, and they are very easy to, and they kind of walk you through the process, don't they?
Right. Yes, absolutely. They're all you have to do is once the machine, it has 2 pads. It tell you to place the pads. One pad goes here, and your other pad will go here. It shows you where to place the pad. Once the pad on the barrel, it has to be on the barrel chest. So if they have a top on, it has to be cut off. If they have a necklace on, you need to cut the necklace off with the scissors that's provided. And you just turn the machine on.
So, so in terms of all of this, clearly, I'm sure it saves a lot of lives. In terms of certification, and I know that you would recommend that almost everybody at some particular point in time be certified in CPR, because you never know when you're going to be in a situation, in particular, because issues with the heart kill more people in this country every year than anything else. So, I would imagine certification is extraordinarily important in terms of what you do.
It's very important, and once again, we try to encourage and suggest everyone get certified. Even if your businesses, some people say, well, we just need one person certified. That person might call in sick that day.
That's true.
And there's no one. So for every minute that a person having a heart attack, they lose 10% chance of survival. Now, let's say they had those cardiovascular risk factors like heart attack before, or they have high cholesterol, obesity, high blood pressure, diabetic. That chance of survival decreases. It's just like with COVID. You got those underlying condition, your chances decreases in having someone save a life.
Right.
So this is why it's important that everybody, you might not be given 30 compression, you just doing what you can until the paramedics arrive on the scene.
Well, as I look at this and I think about, some of the positions that I've held in the past, one of them comes to mind is MLGW, and everyone who works at MLGW has to take a certification course, a CPR certification course. Would you like to see more businesses offer this as a mandatory requirement?
Well, so many people, Chip, and I would love that to answer your question, but so many people are afraid, hey, I might get sued. I might get sued for not doing it right. And so this is why the training is so important. And we try to keep our training very simple. So my goal is to not teach you how to save numbers. My goal is to teach you how to save a life.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, I was excited to have you on, because this is something like a lot of things that we take for granted in life. We don't think about it. If it doesn't affect you directly, you're not going to think about it, and you're not going to do it. This is a constant reminder that you never know from day to day or from minute to minute when something like this, a valuable life-saving tool, will be utilized.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, listen, man, thank you for all you do, and thank you for coming on the show tonight and giving us a quick lesson in how to save lives, and really appreciate you. Wardell Seals, again, the president and CEO of Heartbeat CPR. Thank you, sir, for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Great, Chip. If anybody's interested in taking the class,
yes, sir.
901-324-8556.
Say it one more time, Wardell.
901-324-8556.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that, and thank you for sharing your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chip.
All right, take care. Yes, sir. Well, that was a very informative segment, and it's been a very informative show. Now, right after us, there's a live version of Talking Memphis tonight, and there is a band that is going to be in this studio. So we're about to clear out of here as Bryn plays us out. But I want to thank all my guests. I want to thank Wanda Halbert for being here. I want to thank Regina Goulder for being here. And, of course, I want to thank Mr. Wardell Seals for being here. And I want to thank you all for being here. Real Talk Memphis is a labor of love for me, and you know, I enjoy this show so much, and I hope that we provide information, much needed information for you, the community, and the public. If you like what we're doing, please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Not only to us, follow us, listen to the podcast, get the podcast. So for Nicole, for Lola, and for Bryn, and for myself, thank you, Memphis, and wherever else you are out there in the country. Truly, truly appreciate you and all that you do. So till next time, we're out. Have a great week.